Hey guys, welcome back to Tech. This is the intro of the first series of my web development for absolute beginners course. This entire course is meant for anyone wanting to learn basic web design and web development. This series will be focusing on HTML only, but after that we will move on to CSS and then JavaScript. We will also work on some projects further on. So, what is HTML? It stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and a lot of people just starting out don't realize that HTML is not a programming language at any level. It's a markup language for creating web pages. In computer text processing, a markup language is a system for annotating a document in a way that is syntactically distinguishable from the text. So, when the document is processed for display, the markup language is not shown and is only used to format the text. It is also a computer language that consists of easily understood keywords, names, or tags that help format the overall view of the page and the data it contains. Some examples of markup language are BBC, HTML, SGML, XML. So, what is a programming language? Programming language is the tools we use to write instructions for the computer to follow. But to answer this question further, let's start by picturing a computer. Computers are machines which take in input and give output. They are especially good at repeating tasks and performing calculations. Even though there are different types of computers like laptop phones and even the little computer in the power screen in your microwave oven, at the end of the day, all computers understand one language, binary. Binary is a programming language made only of ones and zeros. The ones and zeros represent the states of on and off in the billions of switches in the CPU chip. One combines the on and off switch represent data and instructions on how to complete complicated tasks and calculations. In this way, a computer's native tongue is binary. But as humans, it's hard to comprehend the ones and zeros. At first glance, binary looks like a nonsense to us. Programming languages help us to transform the abstract ones and zeros into something humans can easily understand. Programming languages are formed into two different classifications, low level and high level. The programming languages which are closer to machine code or binary are called low level languages. For example, a subway language is a low level language which is pretty hard to read because it's still structured to write instruction as a computer thinks, but it's easier to understand than ones and zeros. Although difficult to write, low-level languages are fast and gives the programmer precise control on how a computer functions. On the other hand, high-level languages like Java, Python and C++ are closer to how humans communicate. They are closer to words which we use in our everyday, making them easy to program and control. The downside is that they take more time to convert into machine code for the computer. As computers have become more powerful, the difference in runtime between low-level and high-level languages often is only a millisecond, which means that high-level languages can be used in more scenarios. So, for the most part, high-level languages do the trick. That's why most companies hire people with high-level language knowledge. High and low-level languages have their philosophies and advantages. But at the end of the day, all programming languages have different ways of telling the computer what to do. Programming languages are tools, and deciding which one you want to use is much like the process of picking any tool. A hammer is easy to use to drive nail and requires less skill than using a saw. But try using a hammer to cut down a tree. As per the world of programming, deciding which programming language to use for which task will be much clearer. Even though computers and humans don't have the same native language, programming languages are like a bridge. They allow us to transform our thoughts into something computers can understand. This way, you can think of programmers as ambassadors between humans and the computers. So, no matter what language you choose, welcome to your new world as a technical diplomat. So, why is HTML a markup language rather than a programming language? HTML is great. It defines the structure of web pages and it determines how data is displayed online. What you are looking at right now is HTML code, read and interpreted by your browser. But this doesn't make HTML a programming language. A markup language. HTML is a type of markup language. It encapsulates or marks up data within HTML tags, which defines the data and describes its purpose on the web page. The web browser then reads the HTML, which tells it things like which parts are headings, which parts are paragraphs, which parts are links, etc. The HTML describes the data to the browser, and the browser then displays the data accordingly. That's how the browser knows that this is a heading, this is a paragraph, and this is a link. However, this is not programming. The above is not an example of an executable script. The HTML was only used in the above to mark up the text for the browser to read and interpret as web page content. It told the browser which parts were headings, which parts were paragraphs, and which were links, and the browser displayed them as such. HTML is used for structural purposes on a web page, not functional ones, not a programming language. Programming languages have functional purposes. HTML as a markup language doesn't really do anything, in the sense that a programming language does. HTML contains no programming logic. It doesn't have common conditional statements such as if or else. It can't evaluate expressions or do any math. It doesn't handle events or carry out tasks. You can't declare variables and you can't write functions. It doesn't modify or manipulate the data in any way. HTML can't take input and produce output. Think of it in this way. You can't compute the sum of 2 plus 2 in HTML. That's not what it's for. This is because HTML is not a programming language. So, to get started, all we need is a web browser and a text editor. I suggest Google Chrome and Sublime Text, but you can also use web browsers like Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Edge, and Internet Explorer, and text editors like Atom, Visual Studio Code, Brackets, Notepad, and TextMate. So that's all for today. I post videos every Saturday, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. Bye.